Happy Tuesday. It feels like, I don't know if it feels like a Monday or it feels like a Friday.
Huh.
It's just you know what? We're getting back into that time matrix where
we're getting back into, I called it revving the engines back up yesterday.
Okay,
because most people, I think, kind of disengaged from winter break and re-engage in the waking world yesterday. Because I know most kids. Did your kids go back to school? Was it back to school yet? It was today.
Today.
So they had Monday off.
Yours didn't?
No.
Okay, yeah, I think it was like
My
back to
sister's
school.
kids had yesterday off too. What?
Maybe for the teachers to go back and like get their ducks in a row before the kids return.
Yes.
I could see that. Yeah, so I'm with you. It's a weird, you know, I think the energy we have to take into this week is the new year, new you, fresh start, you know, that kind of like looking forward to the 2026, what's to come. Because otherwise I think we can get kind of bogged down after our relaxing holidays.
For sure. And for some folks, it was the craziness of the holidays, and now they can go back and have the comfort of routine again. But whatever situation you all are in, we hope that your work week is going great. If it's back to work today,
and you know,
power to you.
I was saying this yesterday too, is I feel like this Christmas break, so Christmas, New Year's, all of us have been so scared to get sick, which we are going to be diving into the flu during this show, talking about the flu and how it's everywhere right now. But speaking of the weather, it's going to be so nice this week. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s. We can finally get outside and enjoy ourselves rather than just being miserable because it's so cold. So if you're looking to get out, fresh air, this is the week to do it because it's going to be so nice.
Thank you for the beauty shots, team.
Yeah, look at that.
It really does look nice, and if you know you're trying to rev up the cardio like me, maybe you could go outside and get a little run in, like long sleeves, like a little light jacket. You'll be good.
Talk about into the new year.
Exactly.
Breathe life into your world by going for a jog outside. That'd be wonderful.
Caitlin, I'm leaving you on Friday. I don't know if you know this. I'm not going to be here. I'm taking the car and I'm taking my kid, and we're driving down to Atlanta, and we're going to see the Indiana Hoosiers play in the Peach Bowl.
No way.
Yeah.
You are so adventurous. How long is that drive?
I think it's 10 or 11.
You're taking
We're going to do it over 2 days, though. No. My parents are lending us their van, and what I heard was my dad likes to take Theo for these little outings.
Yeah.
First, I just heard, I haven't seen it yet, that they decorated the van with things like Peach Bowl or Bust and Go IU. Isn't that cute?
That's so sweet. They already
Theo's so excited. He knows more players on the IU team than I do. He's got a video game, College 26, that he's been playing.
No way.
So that's happening.
This Friday.
That's this Friday. So I'm going to take my leave of you. I apologize in advance.
You know what? I wasn't here yesterday.
Yeah.
I was nightside.
You were nightside?
Yeah.
Guess what, everybody?
What?
Pickleball is no longer the fastest growing sport in America. It has been surpassed by its distant cousin, a third cousin, taking over the limelight. This thing is called padel. Did I get that right, Adina?
That looks right.
Padel. So it's not padel, it's padel.
Padel.
Not to be confused with paddle. But it's like, we're hearing that it's a cross between paddle tennis, pickleball, racquetball, badminton, you know what I mean? All the things in the...
What does it look like? Is it on
We're going to find out.
Oh, okay.
We're going to find out.
All right,
because a new facility just opened up in Fulton Market where all things cool converge.
I love it. And the name sounds cool.
Yeah, padel.
It's like paddle, but the E is before the L.
Padel.
Yeah. And new year means a new opportunity to get your finances in order. I'm a huge fan of the Ramseys. Dave Ramsey.
Oh, yeah.
Love him. Okay. So we have Jade Warshaw. Warshaw. She's a co-host of The Ramsey Show. And she's going to be telling us how we can button up our finances, get things cleaned up as we head into the new year.
It's always good. Clean house a little bit, get everything automated.
From Christmas.
Exactly. Everything in a row.
We'll get you your baby steps.
That's coming up toward the end of the hour.
Yes.
We were starting off with some headlines from Hollywood, and this is actually the first one we're going to get to involves Ashley Tisdale. She has exposed what she is describing as a toxic celebrity mom group that has made her recently feel like she's in high school all over again. This has actually really gotten Caitlin and I talking.
Yes, and especially, did you see the headline of who's involved in this?
Mandy Moore,
Meghan Trainor, and Hillary Duff, which makes it even juicier.
Wow, okay.
Because we've seen them on the screen, and we have this like image of them in our head, and now we're gonna find out about how they may be part of the toxic mom group.
Do we have Michael Babcock? There he is.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, guys.
Listen, Michael.
How you doing? Happy New Year. I haven't seen you in so long.
Happy New Year to you. Good to see your smiling face. All right.
Great to see you guys.
So, I'm a Midwest. Both of us are Midwesterners, but, you know, I had the set of friends that moved out to L.A. right out of high school. Right out of high school to try to, you know, bust into the entertainment world. And when I would visit them, the people who were getting parts and the people who were not getting parts, they described the dynamic as like high school out in LA.
Yeah.
Michael, you're a TMZ. Will you kind of give us your own take on the dynamic there before we kick off this latest drama?
I think that's a great point. Look, I'm not from LA either myself. I'm from the East Coast. I'm a guy from New Jersey, so I had a normal upbringing. You know, not surrounded by all of these stars, but I will say I've been out here for almost 13 years now, and I think there certainly is a feeling of, you know, of especially in the people in the entertainment industry, you know, I'll be friends with you if there's something that you can do that might advance my career or help, you know, up my, you know, help my standing or, you know, provide me some sort of clout. I think that's pervasive in Hollywood. Not saying that there's no real people out here. I think there are, but it's probably few and far between, and it does kind of, you know, it makes everything feel fake a lot of times out here because it doesn't just, you know, some friendships don't feel genuine. It feels more like transactional.
Okay, so what we're talking about, this article that Ashley Tisdale wrote, it kind of takes that high school drama, the feeling left out, it puts it under a magnifying glass because it's a mom group that she's discussing and how she was in a very vulnerable place having a baby during the pandemic, and she was just trying to look for support with other moms. And a couple of these, you know, hot celebrities are included in this toxic mom group that she discussed. So do you want to talk about the article that she wrote?
Yeah, so that's exactly right. So she writes this article for The Cut, and it's like you perfectly described, all about sort of her experiences with other mothers and having this child in this unique time. And like you said, looking for support from her community. But she said a lot of times she felt like it was simply transporting her back to high school, where she would be left out of certain gatherings or you know, felt like people were talking behind her back, and these were supposed to be her friends. So she says, I ultimately made the decision that I was just going to quite literally, you know, disassociate myself, just cut people out of her life, and that's what she did. Now, the issue for Ashley, and she, through her rep, has told us that it is not the celebrities that people have pointed to, and you named them. It's Mandy Moore, Meghan Trainor, and who was the third one? Oh, and Hillary Duff. I wrote them down so I didn't forget. And Hillary Duff as well. So those were the three big celebrities that she kind of is known to have a relationship with. There were perhaps some unfollowing done on social media, and because of that, I think the internet sleuths out there said, okay, these are the three celebrities that she's talking about. Her people, again, adamant that she's not talking about any of those women. It's not them. It's other people now.
Sure.
Is that true? That's what they say. But bottom line is, she tried to write this article, and she tried to, you know, point something out that she felt like was something that other moms were probably dealing with as well. And I think instead it's sort of, you know, grown into an even bigger, you know, kind of storm for her that, again, feels even more so like high school.
Is it to the point, Michael, where you could see her having to issue any kind of clarification because of this confusion? Because even going into this interview, I didn't know that she had denied the fact that it's not Mandy Moore, it's not Hillary Duff.
Her agent or her publicist did, So look, I think it's gotten a lot of attention. You know, you might say, oh, these are names that we haven't talked about in a while. You know, who really cares? But for whatever the reason is, if it's nostalgia or something else, this has really gotten a lot of people talking, especially fans of theirs. So if this doesn't quiet it down, if the rep coming out and saying, hey, it's not them, if that doesn't quiet it down, I would not be surprised if we saw Ashley herself go to something like Instagram and release a statement or make a video where she addresses fans directly. So, but she swears it's not about them.
Okay.
I feel bad for her. I think that this is probably an emotional, you know, message that she was sending out because her feelings were hurt by these women. We're gonna dive deep coming up.
Yeah,
Our
here's the
own
thing. For us parents, it brings up a lot of interesting little dynamics that you don't know are going to pop up on you when you become a parent and you start hanging out with other parents and their kids and the relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's really interesting, and I'm sure for her that like this is something that millions and millions of moms and dads deal with, and she wanted to put some attention on it. I imagine that she didn't think that this was going to blow up the way it has, and now she's sort of gotten herself into what seems like a public feud with other celebrities, and I don't think that was what her goal was. No. So she's probably a little shell-shocked that she's found herself in this position.
All right, Caitlin and I will discuss that a little bit more offline.
Yeah.
However, while we have you on the line, Michael, Tom Brady and Alex Earl. There was this video of these two getting a little cozy. It looked like they were at a bar. Can you also educate me on who Alex Earl is? I obviously know who Tom Brady is, but give us the cliff notes.
No, I'm with you. I'm much more familiar with Tom Brady, but Alex Earl has become a massive social media star, somebody who was really influential online, but has now also sort of, crept into the mainstream because she was just a part of or on Dancing with the Stars. She was a cast member, did really well on the show, raised her profile even further. So she is seen on New Year's Eve in St. Bart's, so beautiful location, with Tom Brady. Not just with Tom Brady, though, and obviously, not obviously, she's newly single. She was with the football player Braxton Berrios. They have since broken up. They had a long relationship. That's over. Obviously, Tom Brady is single. We know the relationship, the marriage with Giselle has ended. So both available in St. Bart's New Year's Eve, and there's this video where they look very flirty, where they're whispering in each other's ears. She's rubbing his back, and it seems like, again, this seems like two people who know each other, and it seems like, hey, maybe something's going on here. Well, here's the publicists again swooping in. They are adamant that nothing is happening here.
Sure.
They say that it was flirty, they had fun, all that, yes, but this was not a situation where they went and they sort of hooked up or anything like that. No, nothing romantic outside of, again, a short flirty video. Do people believe it? I think probably not. Would I be shocked if ultimately we found out that they were dating in the future? No, not at all. But for the time being, they're trying to make it very clear that this was nothing. This is just a little bit of, flirty hanging out on New Year's Eve, everyone having fun.
The common theme of today's discussion is social media and social media's role in all these dramatic
And it's probably all true, but
and do we believe publicists or not? That's
exactly.
Control. This story, can you imagine being a celebrity to the point where people are watching everything you do and then it gets spread across the world?
Michael.
Right, you rub somebody's back for a second and
then all of a sudden you're front page news. Hey, but here's another thing, Michael, you might be able to comment on this too. This all comes in the wake of Tom Brady. On the day that it was announced that Giselle was, I guess, engaged with her trainer, didn't he post like a song? He did, like a sad song or something, right? I don't remember what the song was, but that's somebody, that jiu-jitsu teacher is somebody that their kid, Tom and Giselle's kids, went and got lessons from for a long time. Then it turns out now she's engaged to the guy. So
Tom's sad?
I think he probably's got certain feelings about that situation that he doesn't exactly love. Man. And I understand why.
No,
listen,
that breaks my heart a little bit.
Yeah. No, it's sad. It's sad.
I think so.
Michael, thank you, sir. Always a pleasure to speak with you.
It was great to see you guys again.
Yeah, have a great rest of your week. Hope to check in with you often during 2026, buddy.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Wasn't the whole thing with Tom and Giselle, like, she wanted him to retire, and then he didn't, and so then they split, and then he retired, like, right after that?
Yeah.
What a mess.
No, he unretired after that. Is that what you meant? So he retired.
But like a year later, he retired
and then he unretired, and then he
But like, really, was it worth that last season? And it wasn't even a great last season, right?
Not the last one. The second to last one was good. Well, that's the thing is, I mean, from an outsider's point of view, it does certainly appear that his first love is football. We'll have to speculate a little bit more on that one.
I know, we're getting into the weeds of that.
Caitlin,
talk about the mom thing?
Yeah, exactly, because you and I
have both had experience with it. Yeah.
I think the original intent of this article, as Michael just pointed out, was a conversation starter. She wrote this article, especially if it is true that, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt, the publicist saying, hey, it's not about these people. Mandy Moore, Hilary Duff, Meghan Trainor.
Yeah.
To let other moms, because she does have a blog, let other mothers know that if you need to step away from your friend group, that even mom groups can become toxic. And so she, I think, was saying, hey, you're not alone if you've experienced this. I was feeling left out, and I decided to step away from this group dynamic.
I think that as a mom, and I've been in mom groups, and I've seen this happen, you have to realize that even though you're a mom, that doesn't mean that everybody's going to want to be your friend. It doesn't matter if it's another mom. Because the twist of this, I feel like, is because we're both moms, because we're going through this together, you have to want to hang out with me. And I don't think that's the case in reality. I think even if you take the kids out of the equation as an adult, you're making friends, you're going to choose who you want to hang out with. Because, I mean, especially, let's loop the kids back in, you don't have that much time. So I know it hurts feelings. I've been there. I've had my feelings hurt. But I think this is just human nature. And also, I mean, Anthony, you brought in the fact that, like, if you have kids and they're good friends, what do you do?
Yeah.
And do you account for that? But I do think, too, you know, maybe you don't like someone's parenting style. It doesn't mesh with yours. And so maybe you want to take a step back that way, and the other person may get their feelings hurt. I don't know, and I hate to be the devil's advocate here.
Let me ask you this. The way she phrased it, and I want your opinion as a mother, too, who's dealt with some of these dynamics, is that she said she thought she found her village. And she realized that she didn't. What do you think of that phrasing, though? Like, my village.
I get it. I get it. I get it. Because a lot of times families don't live nearby, so we don't have, you know, they say it takes a village to raise these kids, and that's hard. But I would say I don't know. It wasn't her village. It wasn't her village.
And so the point you're making is just because we're adults, but just because you have kids the same age, and just because you label it a village doesn't mean that that's actually the case.
You had the wrong, idea.
Yeah, you had the wrong, you chose the wrong village.
Were
or it wasn't a village.
People actually showing up at your house, helping you when you needed the help, supporting you when you were down.
Yeah.
Those are your friends. Those are your village.
Yeah.
And I doubt if these women were leaving her out of dinners that she was mentioning or text groups that they actually were her village. I think it was just one of those things, maybe, oh, we both have kids the same age, let's hang out. And then it fizzled. It fizzled. And it stinks, but she'll find her people. She'll find her friends.
Do you think this ever goes away? Because she compared it to high school. And we've been talking about how, you know, in high school, you're navigating so much new territory. Is there a teenager in America that's not insecure on some level and doesn't want to fit in and, you know, not get bullied, things like that? It's a universal truth. But, you know, we're adults now. It's decades later. Presumably, we are more self-actualized than we were decades ago. But does this ever, my question is, does this ever go away? Does this high school stuff?
Absolutely not. And I think it's in every part of our life. Work. I mean, think about, like, relationships that you have with other adults outside of just parents. It's always going to be that way. And I think
human
it's just,
nature.
Yes. Yes. And you know, the other issue too, like, to bring in another loop that parents have to deal with, is what if you've got friends that you really like, you like the parents, but the kids are crazy or the kids are mean or something, and you don't want to hang out because the kids are a bad influence on your kids. Then what do you do? Then what do you do?
I would like to, that's a very good question too, and I think an equally good question is, I think you alluded to it, what if the kids absolutely love each other? They get along great.
Yeah.
And you and the parents are like oil and water.
And you love the kid. You love the friend. What do you do?
If you are out there and you are dealing with this dynamic, I don't have a final word on this. I agree with everything you said, that it doesn't go away, but I think one thing we can agree on is that you are not alone.
Yeah.
If you ever experienced some of these dynamics,
and
even
your people are
well
out
into
there.
our 30s and 40s.
You just have to find them.
Yeah.
You just have to find them. And you know, the mean girls, or whatever she said, the toxic moms, just separate yourself, because life is too short and you need support. So I think Ashley Tisdale will find her people, and she had her feelings hurt, and so she wrote this article. But yeah, to Anthony's point, you're
not alone.
Very
good conversation starter, and we'll wait to see if we hear more from Ashley, because I think Michael's right. If it blew up like this, she might herself need to clarify, hey, I was not talking about this.
I wasn't talking about Hillary Duff.
And if she doesn't say anything, hey, we can do the math. We can read between the lines.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the Padel Club, okay, is opened in Fulton Market. Okay, this is a new thing that has taken over pickleball as the fastest growing sport in the world. Maybe pickleball has peaked.
Yeah,
Still hugely popular, but maybe in terms of growth, Padel. So we're going to be checking in with Fabian Gosselin. He is the founder of Union Padel Club. When we come back right after this, stay with us.
Hi, I'm attorney Chris Cooper.
About 10:23. Welcome back. So this isn't pickleball that we're talking about. You can see the balls and the paddles on the table here. Pickleball was once the fastest growing sport in the world, but now its distant cousin out of Mexico is now taken the limelight. It's called Padel, and it's the city's first facility for it, just opened in Fulton Market. So joining us this morning is Fabian Gosselin. He's the founder of Union Padel Club. So thanks for coming in this morning.
Oh, thanks for hosting me.
So let's dive in. First of all, Padel and with the origin. So you mentioned that it was from Mexico. So how did it get started, and why is it now making its way into the States and now Chicago?
It's actually a fun story of how it got started, because it was this guy in Acapulco, which is like a beach city in Mexico, that did not have enough space for a tennis court.
Okay.
So he had a smaller space, and his house was on a cliff. So he had to get creative, because he loved tennis, to develop something similar to tennis that was in a smaller space, and develop this walls, so this kind of like cage system, so that he could play in it.
Wow.
And it started as like a hobby type of sport in Mexico. It then got popularized in Spain about 10, 15 years ago. And it was really the Spanish who professionalized the sport. And after they professionalized the sport, it just exploded everywhere. You started seeing athletes, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi owns a Padel team. You see Jimmy Butler really getting into it, Andrew Schultz, Eva Longoria. So it's really a celebrity-driven sport that started its popularity. And in the U.S., I would say about 5 years ago, really, New York was kind of like the first place where a guy from Mexico actually put a club there and took a shot at it. And I think pickleball helped a lot also to popularize the sport, because it just increased the amount of people that really wanted to play racket sports. And paddle has that social component that pickleball has, because it's also played in doubles. So I think it's a mix of it really getting popular everywhere in the world except the U.S. For a long time, and then pickleball really getting popular in the U.S. and really driving more love for racket sports that started this momentum.
So pickleball didn't ruin its momentum. It actually, you think, helped usher
I think it helped. Yeah.
Okay. So we know that it's smaller. There's a wall involved, so because the founder didn't want the balls falling off the cliff. Yeah. But how is it different than paddle tennis, and how is it different than pickleball?
So it's different to pickleball. You play with a tennis ball. It's similar to a tennis ball. It just has a little bit less air. Okay. But it's played in doubles, so that it has that social component of pickleball where you're playing with a partner. It's fun. It's not necessarily as intense as you would at a tennis with a larger court where you need a lot of physicality. So it has that. Then there's paddle, the sport that I didn't know existed until I
paddle
got
tennis,
into,
right?
Yeah, until I got into in Chicago, which is similar in the sense that you also play with the screens.
Yeah.
And it's doubles, but it's kind of like a squash, a smaller court, squash ball, and then you have squash, which is also intense, similar to padel, where you play off the walls and you have to figure out where the ball is going to bounce after it hits the wall.
So padel, you actually use the wall.
You're able to hit it off the wall.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not over a net.
It's over a net. So it's two versus two over a net, and you have like a cage, like a glass system, where if the ball has to bounce first on the court, then it can hit the wall, and then you can hit it off the wall.
Nice.
Okay. So you hit it off the wall, over the net, to the other side of the court.
And the fun thing is because it can hit off the wall, and you can hit off the wall, the ball is never dead until it bounces twice.
Oh.
So it's very fun and very.
And are there walls on both sides so you can go?
Sides.
Oh, so you can really play the angles.
You can really. It's more of an angle sport.
Ah.
So I'm seeing this woman here. It looks like she's serving. So are you serving like you typically would in tennis?
No, it's a serve below the waist. Because it's a smaller court, you have to serve below the waist. If you do a tennis serve, then you have a bigger advantage.
So this is basically tennis with the added walls?
Yes.
And the only way the ball dies is if it bounces twice?
Correct.
So the rallies probably go longer than they would with tennis?
Yes. You could actually hit it outside of the court, which if you look at some of the pros, I haven't been able to do this today, but if you look at some of the pros, because you can hit it before it hits twice, it could actually hit the floor, then hit off the court, and you can go outside of the court and
no way! You're like, watch out, everybody! I'm getting the ball. Okay, so these are the paddles in front of us. There's a male and a female paddle. So these look a little bit bigger than the pickleball paddles. And smaller than a tennis racket.
They're thicker than a pickleball racket, right?
Yeah.
All right.
The ball's a little bit heavier than the pickleball.
There we go. It's a good inch and change thick.
And this is something I didn't know too, is there's specific padel balls. You said there's less air in these than a tennis ball?
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Right?
Yeah,
so are these hard to find? Like
never had one lesson.
The items and also a place to play. You said you're opening the first one in Chicago.
Yeah, we're opening this Thursday.
Everybody watch. Oh, this is easy, you guys. Wait, this is super fun.
Okay.
Wow.
There you go.
I want to buy this just to play with in the house. Okay, so let's talk about your facility.
Yeah. What did it take? Tell us.
I love this.
How many courts you got? What it took to bring this sport officially.
So we were excited to bring it to Chicago. I mean, it's an international city. It's a city that loves sports. We got the Bears playing this weekend. So it was just natural for padel to start growing in Chicago and bringing the sport to Chicago. And Fulton Market, it was the right place for it. We got corporates, and we have a facility that I'll talk about in a second where we can host events. So we wanted to be close to the corporates, close to our demographic, close to the city in a strategic place. So we decided to open up in Fulton Market. So we have 5 indoor courts because you got to do indoor in Chicago, otherwise you're not operational for half of the year. So 5 indoor courts, and then we developed all these amenities around the court to really foster an experience and a community.
You got the beverages and the food.
We got a full bar and a restaurant. We got a pro shop where we sell all these items because, to your point, you can't find them easily, at least not now because it's just starting to grow. We have our own merchandise, but we also wanted to create a pro shop experience that's different than just selling padel specific stuff. So we have jewelry, we have some health and wellness products. We really want to create more of a health and wellness, community-driven lifestyle experience. And we develop all these amenities outside the courts, like a cold plunge and sauna, co-working space, our bar, some social lounges where you can host events. We have a pool table. We have a game room with liquor lockers. So really more like a club experience, but really open to everyone. You can rent a court without.
Yeah. How does I was going to ask how the participation works. Can you go in as a guest?
Yes.
For a one-time game? Could you pay a monthly membership and have access to the courts? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, we're interested in growing the sport, so we want to make it accessible to everyone. So obviously you can just go through our website, rent a court, get 3-4 friends, and go play. Or you can become a member and you get access to all of these amenities, and you get some perks, you get discounts, you get access to member-only programming. So it's really both. So members have some sort of advantage, but we wanted to bring this place to everyone in Chicago.
What if someone who's watching is interested in playing, but they don't have friends that would want to do it too? Do you guys have options to like join a team or like a pickup game?
And that is actually key in padel, because you need 4 players to play,
Right.
and because the sport is new, it's hard to get 4 players. Particularly initially as the sport starts to grow. So we get a lot of inbound inquiries of, hey, I really want to try it out, but I don't have 3 other players to play with. And we develop what we call like a padel concierge. So you reach out to us, you say, hey, I want to play tomorrow at 6 p.m., but I only have me and my buddy. I need 2 other players, and we make sure to get 2 other players of a similar level so that it's also a fun experience. So we're
Great way to meet someone new in the new year.
Exactly.
We did a whole segment about how sports.
Yeah, it's a good way.
It's like a good icebreaker.
Meet cute. What if you don't own a paddle? Can you rent them?
Yeah, you can rent them at our facility, or you can buy them at our facilities.
Oh, okay.
It's really great. What age demographic is this growing most with? You mentioned some of the celebrities who have gotten on board, Lionel Messi, people like that. Did you say Ronaldo owns a team?
Yeah. Oh, he wanted to. He's trying to open a padel club in Portugal.
Oh yes. Okay. So yeah, is this popular among like the the Gen Zers kind of thing, or is it older than that?
I would say because the sport is easy on the body, it's really like a very broad range of the demographic. I would say it is concentrated within like the 20 to 40-year-old demographic, but we've seen players older than that they play platform, it's a little bit harder on the body. They want to change to something that's a little bit softer. They try pickleball, but they used to be college tennis players, so they want something a little bit more intense. They try padel, it's easy on the body, it's intense. So it's a large demographic.
So you would say that padel is a little on the intensity side, a little more intense than pickleball.
Yeah.
Not as intense as tennis.
Not as intense as tennis.
Okay.
So how long does a game last? Speaking of how hard it is, is it like hours long, or is it?
It's the same scoring as tennis.
Oh, okay. 15, 30, 40,
6, tie break,
advantage. So exactly the same scoring as tennis.
So
are they? Are the matches the same? Matches to 6, unless it goes to a tie break.
It goes to a tie break. So I would say like average is like an hour and a half is what we recommend the session should last, because then it allows you to play 3 sets.
Okay.
So
What's the surface?
Surface is turf.
Turf.
Yeah.
It's
with a little bit of sand.
Okay.
No way. That's
So
not
you
what I
go-
expected.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go. There's the sand there.
Yeah, so you see the sand there, which it's supposed to settle the more people start playing. It's supposed to settle in turf, so that the bounce is better and you can slide a little bit and hit the ball.
So that could make it kind of die down a little bit. I was picturing more of like a tennis court, but I feel like that ball would just be bouncing all over the place. So for footwear, are tennis shoes okay on turf?
So
Are you
tennis
slip and slide?
tennis shoes work to start with, but then there are padel-specific shoes that help you with the sand component of it.
What is your experience with padel? Because this is such an interesting game, and you obviously have to be passionate about it to bring it to Chicago.
Yeah, so I've been playing for over 15 years. I'm from Mexico originally, where the sport was invented, and I used to play tennis when I was a kid. And then at some point I got to know padel, and I just never looked back.
No way!
I think I've played tennis twice after I started playing padel. And it was really, when I came to Chicago 5 years ago, that I really wanted to play padel, and there was nowhere to play padel, so find the right partner, and we decided to open this venture.
Congratulations!
Necessity, the mother of invention. I love it, man. I can't wait to come over and try.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to host you, play a game over there any time, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I hope it
Gathering
grows.
spot. I love that you're doing all the other things too, like the cold plunge and the locations to eat and drink. And
Yeah, exactly. Wait, one question. So it's in New York. There's a place like this in New York.
Yeah, right now there's almost everywhere. There's New
Almost.
York,
so
San
we're late to the
Francisco,
game. In Chicago,
LA.
we're late to the game?
We're a little bit later to the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
All
good
right.
luck to you. Fabian Gosling, thank you so much for being here. Good luck. The game is called Padel, and the
wait,
Union
really
Padel
quick.
Club is now open in Fulton Market.
Website, social media.
Oh, there you
accounts,
go.
Where should people look?
Yeah, so to be able to book a court, you can go to www.unionpadelclub.com. We have our own app that you can download in iOS or Android, Union Padel Club. Yeah, social media, we have Instagram, union.paddle.club. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
Fabian,
Wonderful.
thanks so much. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to go through all of Tuesday's trending stories. Stay with us.
How about telling us why you want to leave?
Okay, 10:37. What's trending? And I think this is going to be juicy again. You know, hot topic. Okay, so we're talking about the airport. When you go through the security line, there's a recently posted now viral video of a traveler taking empty bins from the security conveyor belt and stacking them in the return pile. So people praise the poster's initiative. Some accounts claim to be current and former TSA and airline employees. They say travelers like that make the airport experience a little bit better. One commenter said it's just the right thing to do. Every time this person does this, a TSA agent thanks me and just saved a cat from a tree. They clearly don't see it often, and it's sad.
I think that's a good move. Yeah. Those, you know, the thing is, it's changed. I do think that should be standard etiquette, you know?
Okay, here's my hot take. You ready?
Yeah.
When you go through a TSA line, do you or do you not feel like you're going to get in trouble? Like,
Oh, all the time.
I have something on me that I'm not supposed to, on accident, da-da-da-da-da. The anxiety level when you
Yeah.
go through, and then everybody behind you who might be trying to catch their flight, so you're sweating, right? You're taking off your shoes like, oh,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah.
So I feel like to do that,
That's above and beyond.
you would have to be like super chill though.
Here's-
And I don't think that's the mental state that most people are in.
Let me throw something out there. I do think there should be etiquette, but there are people who are experienced travelers who are quicker with the on and off. You know, like I've got my shoes strategically not tied, okay, like these particular ones, so I can get in and out of them. You know what I mean? Quickly.
Yeah, sure.
There are times where I struggle in that line. Take care of yourself first. Make sure the lines keep going. If you have extra bandwidth, we'll call it, that's when you spring into action and play the hero like that guy. But first things first is take care of not holding up the line. Because you are right, Caitlin. You're under the gun. Not only, you know, it's like when you see a cop on the side of the road, even if you're not speeding, you're like, oh no, wait, what am I doing wrong? Is my tail light out? All that stuff, right?
Okay.
So take care. My only input on this is take care of yourself. Make sure you're not slowing things down on the line. And if you got anything, if you got any extra time, then help out the TSA agents.
And I almost would feel like going through that line, if I were to do something like that, I would get in trouble.
You do?
You know, yes. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to place my items here. I'm going to go to this spot. I'm going to take my items out, and then I will remove myself from the situation and get dressed back together over here, and then go to my gate and leave the TSA line in the past. I feel like I wouldn't even think to do that because I would figure that that's not what they would want me to do. Like, they just want you to, come on.
I need to...
Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
they are. Some of them are
like, if you grabbed your basket and we're walking back, I feel like they'd be like, excuse me.
It's all kinds of little rules you got to know now. It's like every laptop needs its own bin. So sometimes you've got like 3. One for your bag, one for your other secondary carry-on item, one for your laptop, and then like...
your cell phone and keys.
And then all of a sudden...
Right.
It's a lot.
I don't know.
It's a stressful little thing. And then once you're through, you're like, ah.
It's the worst. And they're always cranky, it feels like. The TSA agents are always mad at you.
I will say, despite the fact that I agree with that, maybe that's part of the job description, like, hey, be a little grouchy
like
to keep people going.
Restaurants
their Instagram, do you follow their Instagram?
Are they funny?
They're funny.
Snarky.
So they despite the mood of the agents on the ground, whoever's doing their social media, it's an entertaining follow because they post all the random stuff that people try to bring through. They make tongue-in-cheek remarks. You know, it works.
Stresses me out.
All right, here's another Tuesday trender, everybody. The analog bag is going viral. This is a bag that is trying to remove people from being buried into a screen, okay? Introducing the analog bag. It's a trend going viral, encouraging people to unplug and do offline stuff. So the analog bag, it's like a purse, but you have non-digital activities. So here are some examples here. Caitlin, I was already like, nope, out. Crossword puzzle book, portable watercolor set, Polaroid camera, planner, knitting supplies. It's a no from Caitlin.
I cannot. What? No.
People have started sharing their own versions of it. Magazines, remember what those were? Deck of cards, little solitaire.
Solitaire? Never.
Paints, needlepoint puzzle books. People are hoping these activities will occupy their hands, because I do think that these phones have wired us up. They've revved up our engines so that, you know, I feel myself, one thing that I am totally guilty of, every time I get into an elevator, if it's a one floor, our elevator here.
Oh, yeah. Literally every time, yeah.
It's 10 seconds, Anthony. You don't need to reach into your pocket. So this is, I think, a little, you know, you need something to maybe do. So I want to throw Rubik's Cube out there. Maybe if you've been trying to do that forever, just something to occupy your hands, like, hey,
I bet this is one of those things where they would, you know, someone would pack this bag and then take their cell phone out and record themselves doing the painting.
Exactly.
Saying, look at how, you know, I'm beyond the cell phone, but they're recording themselves doing it. I don't know. I just feel like that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. On that note, though, what we're saying, how we need to use our hands. Some research suggests that replacing an old habit with a new one, which is tied to the same cue, which in this case is boredom.
Yeah.
Boredom, using your hands, can be more effective than just trying to, you know, because I actually have to tell myself, I reach into my pocket in that elevator and be like, oh, I don't need to.
Let's look around instead.
I don't need to. I can actually just stand here and stare.
You're right.
In the elevator.
Give your brain a break.
Exactly.
The other day, this is 2 things. First thing I was going to tell you, and then I'll tell you the second thing. It's kind of funny. The first thing is I got my kid a Bop It.
Oh yeah, Bop It.
Wait, I didn't get
Snap
it.
Dude.
Santa got the Bop
Twist It. Yeah, I remember those.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my husband and I have been trying to like beat each other with like the records. That's a really fun thing. If you're trying to get something that's like not your phone, but to occupy your brain, get a Bop It. Take that thing with you.
Caitlin, if I ever see you in the elevator and you just, because aren't those things like this? Isn't it the size of a baseball bat?
It's like large, yeah, but it's super fun.
Oh, that's good.
The other thing, speaking of getting off your cell phone, I saw this post, and it was pretty funny. It was this couple that took a video of their face, like looking up, and the guy's eyes kind of went this way, and the girl, when she looked up, her eyes were looking this way. So I did it the other day, and it's almost like a stretch for your eyes if you've been looking at your phone too much. Like if you just
Wait, what does that mean, Caitlin? So the guy is looking up and his eyes went in opposite directions?
Yeah, okay. Wait.
Is this so you had to be there? Caitlin.
No. Get out your camera and take a video. You guys should do this at home too.
Okay.
Take a video of your face, looking up at your face. And then he looked up into the sky, and his eyes are just, I gotta get it together.
Should I
It's so funny. My eyes were straight, but this was really fun. I will try to
can't
pull
even
up this
see my
video
eyes in that
for you
one.
guys.
We needed some Kleenex over here on set.
What I'm talking about. I'll find this video.
Okay, find it during this brief commercial break and then collect yourself.
I'm sweating.
Collect yourself. We'll show you what Caitlin is talking about
Okay, I'll find
when
it.
we come back. Along with, we have a very, this is news you can use actually.
Oh.
A lot of us trying to get our financial houses in order as we kick off 2026. We're going to get some special help from a really knowledgeable individual. Jade Warshaw, co-host of the Ramsey Show, is also going to join us when we come back.
Sorry, everybody.
Being the victim of a
We are talking about how it's a new year, new you, taking control of your finances in this new year after Christmas and perhaps taking on some extra debt. So this morning we are joined by Jade Warshaw. She's the co-host of the Ramsey Show. Good morning to you, Jade. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay, so I am the biggest Ramsey fan. I love you guys, and I love everything that you preach. So let's talk first about the Ramsey plan. It's you know, the baby steps. In case someone watching has never heard of the Dave Ramsey Show.
Okay, let's get into it. Baby step one, you save $1,000, and this is for anybody who has debt. If you have debt, you need $1,000 between you and life. Sounds easy, but it actually can be a little tough. Most people get it within 30 days. And then after that, baby step two, you're paying off. The goal is to pay off all of your consumer debt. So that's anything except your mortgage. Most people do it in around 18 months or so, 18 months to 2 years. And then after that, now we can go ahead and stack up 3 to 6 months of expenses. That's baby step 3. Baby step 4, after that, we're going to start investing for the future, 15% of your gross income every single month into your 401k or Roth IRA, that sort of thing. And then after that, baby step 5, we can put aside a little bit for kids' college. Baby step 6, if we have a mortgage, we can start to pay it off, just paying a little extra here and there. And then finally, baby step 7, once you've achieved all that, you can just live and give like no one else. So that's 7 steps to financial peace.
And you call them baby steps, but the reality for some people is that they might think, oh my gosh, $1,000. I am already treading water here. Get us some first steps to even make these first baby steps.
Absolutely. You're not wrong. People, I posted on the internet and they say, Jade, these are adult steps.
Yeah.
So I understand what you mean. But the truth is, this is a lifestyle. This is not something that's going to happen in 1 or 2 months. And so just to get started, there's a couple of things. Number one, you need to make the decision today that you're not going to borrow money anymore. You just need to stop borrowing money. Debt is the problem. Debt is the thief. Think about it. Your payments every single month is what's stealing your income. So number one, you just need to stop borrowing money. All right? Put that on the table. Number 2 is let's know our numbers. For the first time ever, know your numbers. You'd be shocked at how many folks call into the Ramsey Show and I ask them a simple question, hey, what do you make every month? And they're unsure, they're not certain. And so knowing your numbers, log into that HR portal, download your bank statement. Let's find out exactly how much money you make and let's find out exactly how much your expenses are every single month so we can actually see, are you in the red? Do you have some money left over? And then we can take it from there.
Okay, let's talk about that Every Dollar budget app because I'm a huge fan of that as well. And there's a free option. So talking about getting a handle on your numbers, this Every Dollar app, let's dive into there.
Yes, I love Every Dollar. It's the only budget I use because it's so simple. It does the work for you. You plug in your numbers, it asks you a few questions about yourself, and it'll help you and guide you through, okay, here's what you must do next. Here's how much margin you have. And not only that, but once you find the margin, it'll actually tell you what to do with it. So let's pretend you got $200 or $300 left over at the end of the month. Every Dollar, because you've told it a little bit about your financial life, it'll say, okay, for you, the next thing you need to do is let's start working on that smallest credit card debt that you have. So it really walks you through it. It's like you had me in your pocket telling you what to do next. And so that budget is so important. Having control is a huge deal. So much of us go through life, the numbers are just up here, it's creating anxiety in our life, but with Every Dollar, you can find out what is my financial picture, how much margin do I have, and it'll tell you exactly what steps to take next.
I really like how you're boiling this down, Jade. In the 5 pillars of personal finance that you guys talked about, one of them is carrying the proper insurance. And I know that this can be a major expense monthly for a lot of folks. A lot of folks are losing these enhanced subsidies right now. What are some rules of thumb in order for us to carry the proper insurance?
Yeah, so the first rule of thumb is just to understand, you know, in my world, we're always talking about the baby steps, and a lot of people think that, oh, I'll get the right life insurance after I've paid off my debt, or I'm going to wait until my financial situation is better to get better auto coverage, and that's simply not true. The time to have the right insurance is today, right? Insurance is a huge, lack of insurance, I should say, is a huge reason why people face bankruptcy, and I understand health insurance right now is higher than it's really ever been. It's astronomical. A lot of people have faced major increases this year. That's why a budget is necessary, so that we can find that money in other areas. But just understand, you need to do a coverage checkup. And actually, if you've never done one before, you can go to RamseySolutions.com/coverage, and we're going to help you do that. But you need to carry the right auto insurance. You need to have health insurance. Most of us need term life insurance, right? Life insurance is for anybody who has an income that other people depend on. So if you're a mom or a dad and you've got kids at home, you need life insurance. So important. So these are the things that we talk about. And if you want more information on that, yeah, definitely tune into The Ramsey Show. We're every day on YouTube, and we're going to walk you through all that.
That's why I got life insurance, is listening to Dave Ramsey. Literally, yeah. And then also, like, to your point about not having the $1,000, I know you guys always preach about saying you're not going to a restaurant unless you're working in the restaurant. So really picking up those side jobs to get that $1,000 for your emergency fund. Let's talk about winning with money and what that means to you.
You know, winning with money, it's not easy. And I say this all the time. It may sound trite, but it's not. Hard work is hard, right? It's difficult, and we are in a society where we're used to getting things right when we ask for them, right? You do DoorDash, the food is on your doorstep. Amazon puts a package on your doorstep, a lot of times the exact same day. And so we've gotten used to that lifestyle, but the truth is, when it comes to your money, it's not a microwave, it's not Amazon. It takes time. In this real estate market, it is going to take you time to save a down payment. It is going to take time to pay off student loans. It took my husband and I 7.5 years to pay off all of our consumer debt. And I can just tell you that endurance is the name of the game. Endurance is embracing something that's hard or uncomfortable for a period of time in order to win. And that's what it means to win with money. Like I said before, this is a lifestyle. Most people can pay off debt, you know, in 2 years or less, but that's not where the end of the road is. Now we've got to start, you know, putting our retirement savings around, and we've got to think about kids' college. So just understanding that this is a lifestyle. It's a journey. It's not about getting to that finish line and now I'm done and the finish line needs to happen next week. Okay, so changing and reframing our mind is so important. I help folks do that in the book, What No One Tells You About Money. I wrote that book. Is actually out today.
Oh, very good. Well, we're going to, I want to ask you more about the book in just a second as we take a look at the screenshot. Gorgeous cover. I love it.
Thank you.
Jade, okay. On the endurance thing you just mentioned, that means doing something hard for a sustained period of time. What are some examples of the kind of endurance we need, the kind of endurance muscles we need to develop here? A lot of people might, you know, hear this and think, okay, to save, I need to eat ramen noodles. I need to cut back on this and that. I can't go to Starbucks ever. Vacations, that's out. So get us started. What are some of the realistic things that financial muscles we need to be able to build for a sustained period of time?
I love that. So practically off the top of the head, you know, when we're talking about accomplishing a goal with money, there's usually two factors to it. It's money driven, right? Number one, you're going to have to make more money, right? A budget is not magical. You have to add money to it. So for a lot of us, we do have to look at possibly getting a side hustle for the short term. Some of us have to look at our actual core income. Maybe your number one job is just not earning you enough money and you need to see what else is out there, right? And then the other part of it is now we can cut expenses. Cutting expenses is a huge part of this. So for some of us, it's DoorDash. For some of us, Amazon. Many of us, we have subscriptions to things like Spotify and Paramount Plus and all of these different things, and we need to start cutting those things back. And the truth is that's tough. It is tough to say, hey, I'm used to eating out or grabbing takeout 2 or 3 times a week, and I'm going to cut that back majorly to maybe 1 time a week, or maybe I'm not going to do it at all for a couple of months. And so that's practically what we're looking at when we think about money. But let's talk about the part that no one tells you, right? What no one tells you about money is that everything we just said is incredibly emotional. I guarantee somebody listening to that right now got angry when I said that. They said, Jade, with everything that's going on in the economy, I deserve to spend, right? Have you seen the real estate market? The least I could do is, you know, pick up DoorDash on the way out, right? So there's emotion there, there's anger, and there's frustration, and so many of us are facing guilt and shame, and that's what I want to help people walk through. Anybody can tell you the numbers, but people are not talking about the emotions, but I am.
We have 15 seconds left. Let's hear about your book, Jay, before we sign off here.
Absolutely. So in the book, I'm helping you diagnose what is the emotion. Money touches every area of our life, our career, our finances, our relationships. And we need to understand what's running in the background. I'll help you diagnose. Is it anger? Is it fear? Is it pity? Is it shame? And I'll give you the antidote to help fix it so you can use those emotions as fuel.
I love that. All right, Jade, congratulations on your book. Go find that today. And about the debt, you guys say smallest debt to largest, right? Roll it into the next. So that'll also help you with your endurance.
I like it.
Let's go.
I like the way, we got a new fan right here. Thank you so much, Jade. Appreciate it.
You bet.
All right.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. We're going to take a quick break. More Chicago Now right after this.
Fox 32 Chicago for breaking.
Welcome to the 11 o'clock hour of Chicago Now. I'm Gabriela Primus.
I am Jake Hamilton filling in for Tia. What a day we've had.
What a day we have had. And I haven't seen you in a while, mister.
I know. I was off a little bit at the end of the year. You know, took some time away, went and spent some time with my family, drove down to Texas with my girlfriend and the dog and had some time there, and then came back here and then, you know, Anita Blanton and I co-hosted the...
Yeah, how was that?
It was fantastic. It was such,
I saw your
such an
recap
incredible
in
night.
the morning.
You know, I am not like a cool guy by any stretch of the imagination. So normally you would not find me at a nightclub on New Year's Eve. I've never necessarily been invited to Tao before, but it was my first time there. They were so unbelievably kind and welcoming. We had a great broadcast out of there. We were a part of multiple different Fox affiliates on New Year's Eve, and it was just such a great show.
You know, I wish I could have caught it, but I had to work the next morning, so I went to bed at like 8 p.m.
I get it. And listen,
But
I'm rarely up till midnight these days.
But
So that was
it's
a big
kind of nice
deal.
having like plans set for you. Like, yeah, you had to work, but still you're in a fun atmosphere.
It really was. And you know, we had a nice area of Tao, and you know, Anita's significant other was able to come. My significant other was able to. So we really, it was what I've been describing as the best case of a worst case scenario, right? Yes, you have to work on New Year's Eve, which most people don't want to. But we had a really great team there. Everyone behind the scenes on our end here at Fox 32.
Fun, Jake.
Shout out to Jacob, our amazing photographer.
He's awesome, Jacob Carp.
And Grant and John, everyone, you know, at promotions behind the scenes just did such an amazing job. And it really was. It was a really special show to be a part of.
Okay, you had a good time. And yeah, I'm glad to see you got away for Christmas. You usually take that trip every year.
Yeah,
right?
usually go down. My dog is a little too big to put on a plane, and I never really want to put her in the storage compartment. So I just throw her in the backseat of the Bronco, and then away we drive.
It's a nice excuse to get out, to do a little road trip.
Yeah, you know, I am a road trip fan. It was nice that, you know, my girlfriend was able to come, so, you know, she was kind of DJ and helped me out. You know, if I started kind of doing the head nod, I thought, Start editing stuff for social media, start getting my social media numbers back up. It was nice to, I kind of started, I was happy to be back and see everybody today.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
And you had a good weekend too.
Great
glad
weekend.
to see it.
Yeah.
We have a packed show today, and I'm glad to see you filling in.
Yeah, we have
Tia
a
right now
lot going on.
Taking her own little vacation, so
oh,
she'll be back
is that
later
where
on
Tia
this
is?
week.
Good for her. Good for her.
All right, so let's get to it.
Yeah,
First, we have a celebrity coming on.
Yeah, Theresa Caputo. This is the big. We've had her on the show before, so this is not on Chicago Now, right? Adina, we've had her on Good Day Chicago. Yeah, GDC. Yeah,
okay.
GDC. I consider the show like
so you're a good friend of hers.
Oh, I don't think I've ever spoken to her actually.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. I'm actually excited. Adina has. Adina behind the.
Did you get a reading, Adina?
I was hoping so badly she would give me one, but she didn't.
No,
she wasn't able to give her one. Which I don't think that we should hope for that. You know, luckily I haven't had anyone really close to me pass, but it is always interesting to like. Sometimes you'll like get ancestors and stuff like that. Everyone knows I'm really emotional. I like bawl my eyes out every time I run into one of those clips. I used to watch TLC, obviously, saw her show, but then like, you know, TikTok, you still see the cry videos. And
well, the reason we're talking with her, she's going to be at the Genesee Theater in Waukegan on February 4th.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that, I was just talking to someone about this earlier, like, that we're starting to make plans for February, honestly, and like someone the other day said something about this thing that we have to do in March, that we're kind of just starting to like make plans into the spring almost in a way. Next thing you know, we'll look up and it'll be summer.
I was telling Mike Kaplan today that with this weather switch that we've seen, everyone is so happy. And that's why I love springtime, because everyone's all of a sudden outside with their dogs. They have a smile on their face. They're just running around, being cute.
I gotta be honest, for me, it's the sunshine. Like I would rather it be 15 degrees and sunny than 40 and cloudy. And look at that.
I would have to agree. Boom. Just like magic.
We're getting a little bit of sunshine today, but the temperatures are up. Was feeling great. I
Too
really
bad the meteorologist left the room.
Come on, I know.
That's one of our new cameras here. It's looking at Lincoln Park.
I love this shot. Whenever we got the email about this new shot that we have available to show our viewers, just a gorgeous, gorgeous shot.
You know, another thing we're going to be talking about, one of our last topics, so stick around. We're around the age where a lot of our friends might be having kids. Unfortunately, you know, for some folks, it's really hard. Actually, 1 in 6 people are affected by infertility. But some say that your diet may have an impact on it. So we're going to get some tips and tricks about that, get some insight as well. But first, you know, a serious topic here. It's been heading the headlines, I guess, all week. We're talking to Paul Boast, non-resident senior fellow with the Chicago Council on Global Affairs, about the U.S. attack in Venezuela. So we know Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and his wife have both pleaded not guilty to U.S. drug trafficking charges after they were captured by U.S. military forces over the weekend. Thank you so much for coming in, and I know we're seeing some sketches here of court that we saw yesterday. Give people kind of an update. Maybe they haven't been following along with Good Day Chicago with some of our later news shows. You know, what's kind of the gist of what happened over the weekend and what happened in court yesterday?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. And I think the synopsis, as you will, is that over the past several weeks, really over the past several months, going back into the early fall, the Trump administration have been making various overtures towards Venezuela. Most people will be familiar about with respect to like the boat strikes that have been happening, saying that those were drug running boats and the U.S. had a right to stop those boats. That gradually led to more and more rhetoric about actually needing to change the regime, if you will, or the leadership within Venezuela. That is where Maduro came in. Then, of course, it's important to remember the U.S. had long had animosity towards Maduro. This is not unique to Trump. That all came to a head over the weekend, where the U.S. conducted a military operation to kidnap, well, I shouldn't use the word kidnap, basically take him out of the country, and now he is being held in a facility in the United States, in New York, and he is being held on charges, specifically charges related to the drug trade that relates back to the drug boats coming out of Venezuela. And what is now happening is those trials are starting to, or at least the preliminary hearings are going in to that process. He, of course, is claiming, Maduro is claiming that he is not guilty. He's also claiming that the U.S. Did not have a right to come in and remove him from the country. So that is how we've gotten to this point, and that is where things currently stand.
Paul, obviously we were telling people you're a non-resident senior fellow at the Chicago Council on Global Affairs, and you wrote something interesting in a post on the council website. You wrote, while militarily successful, the operation was not legal under international law unless the UN Charter's definition of self-defense is stretched to its breaking point. I'm curious, what do you mean by that?
So, as I mentioned, and I even had to correct myself, was I used the term kidnap. And of course, I shouldn't have used that term per se, because that is a term that is actually part of the legal debate that is happening right now in New York. But what happened was the Trump administration used military force to remove a leader of another country from office and bring that person to the United States, and did so under the pretense that this leader is facilitating a drug trade that is coming into the United States. Now, the reason why this starts to become legally dubious is manifold. First of all, it is not legal under international law to do what the United States did, which is go in and remove a leader from one country and bring him to the United States. The other reason is that under the UN Charter, it is permissible to use military force for the purposes of self-defense against military aggression. Well, that would require the Trump administration to argue that there was military aggression being committed by Venezuela against the United States. But of course, that's not what the Trump administration has been arguing. Instead, what they've been arguing is that there's this drug trade that is happening, and that the U.S. took this action in order to stop that drug trade. So that's the reason why you would have to really stretch the definition of self-defense. You would have to say that the drug trade is such an existential threat to the United States that it required taking this type of military action. And that's something that's just not typically or ever considered to be legal under the UN Charter.
You know, there's people kind of saying this both ways, right? There's people who would agree and think that this is wrong, not the right way to do it. I would say maybe a majority of people agree, but then also there's some Venezuelans who are here in the U.S. who are very happy about what happened, finally Maduro out of office, and, you know, Trump doing what he said they did. A lot of people saying that's part of the reason that they voted for Trump, in hopes that this would happen. Let's talk about some of that reaction and how that's playing into things as well, if you don't mind commenting.
Well, I think it's very understandable why people would be happy, if you will, that Maduro is out of office. The reality is that he was someone who was not popular, full stop. He was not popular within Venezuela. He was not popular by people who have had to flee the country and now live here in the United States, live here in Chicago. He was not popular in the region. He has very few supporters in the region. My own view is that a lot of leaders in the region are probably glad he's out of office. It's also important to remember that the Nobel Peace Prize winner this year was the opposition leader to Maduro. I mean, that shows how much international opposition, if you will, towards Maduro. So in many ways, this should have been an easy win for the Trump administration. In fact, I would even go as far as to say that had Harris won the presidency, she may also have taken action against Maduro. But what is interesting is that somehow we've taken a situation where honestly there should have been a lot of international support for actually having Maduro out of office, and we've turned it into a situation where people are viewing the United States as the bad guy, if you will. And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that it was done with really no regard for how others would view the international legal implications, which is what we were just talking about. I think the fact that people were also questioning the legality of the boat strikes that have been going on for months leading up to this situation. So again, it's very understandable that people would be pleased that Maduro is out of office. In fact, I think a lot of people actually are. But it's more about the process by which this was done that I think has people who are criticizing the Trump administration upset.
That actually leads perfectly into my next question, because it seems like maybe for some people it's not a matter of finding fault with what was done, but maybe how it was done. To your point, the process. Is there a different way that this situation could have been handled and ended up with the same results?
But I think one key way in which it could have been handled differently would be to just simply have not had the lead up of all the boat strikes. I think that already kind of put things in a negative light that was already leading people to question what the Trump administration was doing, kind of question its overall strategy. But I could actually imagine a situation, it still would not have been legal, it still would have been highly questionable. But if you go back to 1989 with the conduct of the George H.W. Bush administration towards Panama and the removal of Noriega from office there, that was also a situation that was not legal under international law. But because of the manner by which it was carried out, it was something that eventually people were able to, if you will, give a pass. They were able to say, well, Noriega wasn't really a great person. The U.S. handled this probably in the best way that possibly could be handled. He eventually gave himself up, and therefore we're going to go ahead and kind of move on, if you will. But because of the lead up to this situation, and because of the rhetoric that's been used by the Trump administration, talking about stealing oil, or now talking about running the country, these are things that have put people on edge to say, number one, this seems like we're kind of engaging in sort of like neo-colonial type processes. Like, isn't imperialism, that doesn't seem like something the U.S. should be doing. And the other part of it is, again, just people saying, like, is there a plan for this? How has this been conducted in a way that makes sense, that doesn't just lead the U.S. into a bad situation like with Iraq or Afghanistan? And I think those are things that have led people, again, to kind of say, I'm not sure this was the best way to carry this out.
You know, Paul, right after this happened, kind of one of the first times we heard from Trump was on Air Force One. He was talking to some reporters, and he then was issuing warnings to some of these other countries too, Mexico, Colombia, even talking about Greenland, which we know has been a topic for a couple months now. You know, it's kind of opened up another can of worms. But what action could he take on these other countries? Do you see him doing anything potentially soon, or is it more of maybe a threat?
So this is the other big concern about the way in which this was carried out. And in fact, it's something that people say is kind of the negative to the fact that it was militarily quite successful. It was actually very well executed militarily. As a result, it has emboldened Trump. And I think that's exactly why he started to make those type of he made those overtures. He said, well, gee, if it was so easy to do this in Venezuela, we had this huge buildup, and then it was over overnight. And it's like, well, maybe now I could actually use that as leverage to make these threats towards, in this case, Greenland being most notable, or he's even making threats towards Cuba. And so that's kind of something that people are worried about. And I think it's a very understandable question, is that the military success of this operation and how, quote, easy it was, could it now lead Trump to say, well, gee, we could do this again. We could do this again. We could do this in other instances. And people now know the power of the United States militarily, and the power, and also know his own willingness to wield that power that might put him in a position to make good on these other overtures that he has been making over time, Greenland being most notable.
Paul, I want to circle back around to the legality of this entire thing. I'm sort of curious, everyone's having these discussions, whether it was, whether it wasn't. Who is ultimately going to make that final decision? And quite frankly, does that final decision matter? If it is decided that it wasn't legal to do that, is there going to be any implication for the Trump administration?
Yeah, so the reason why, I smile is because, quite honestly, that is my view, is that it is important, I think, to have these discussions. You can understand how that could shape the narrative. You could understand how that could lead other countries to maybe not be willing to endorse U.S. actions. But at the end of the day, does it actually matter? And the people to whom you have to ask that question is the Trump administration. And the Trump administration, I think, says, no, we don't really care. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we're in a world where, yes, this might not have been legal, but what's legal isn't necessarily the same as what they think is important to do for U.S. national security. So it could have these implications in terms of turning off other countries to the United States, creating tensions with U.S. allies. But at the end of the day, if the U.S. feels like, look, we were able to pull this off, we were able to get Maduro out, we're able to now rebuild the oil industry there, and going back to the previous question, maybe now we've also set ourselves up to take further actions in the Western Hemisphere, then those are going to be the things that they're going to care about. And it's not going to be about whether something was deemed legal or illegal by an international court, if you will.
Okay, there's been a lot of questions. I'm sorry, we're going kind of, all around with this topic, but there's just so many different details that I want to make sure that we cover. There's been a lot of question about who's in charge of Venezuela right now, right? Is it one of the U.S. lawmakers? Is it, is it someone in Venezuela? Well, right now they have Maduro's vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, acting as interim president. For the foreseeable future. There's been, word that maybe she will extend past that 180 or 160 days that, she'd be interim, or if she will cooperate with the U.S. and kind of hand it over. What are your thoughts with what could happen next with who would be in charge with Venezuela?
Well, this is the other angle to it that many people have pointed to say about the process, if you will, keep going back to that idea of process, saying, well, the U.S., as much as we were able to conduct a well-executed military operation, did we actually have a plan for the aftermath? And it seems like one part of that plan was to just give Marco Rubio yet another job, right? Marco Rubio is National Security Advisor. He's Secretary of State. He's head of USAID. And apparently now he is actually overseeing the running of Venezuela. But as you mentioned, it turns out that, well, we do have a bit of a secession plan in that it's Rodriguez who's now in charge of Venezuela. But to what extent is Rodriguez actually running things? Is it in coordination with the United States? Have these things actually been settled and figured out? My own view is that the U.S., and this isn't unique to the Trump administration, but it seems like the Trump administration might also be falling susceptible to this, but that is the U.S. has a terrible track record when it comes to thinking about the aftermath of using military force. We're very good at applying military force. We can even use it in a very surgical way. But then afterwards be able to say, well, what's the plan? What's the plan for running a country? What's the plan for rebuilding a country? And it's not clear in this case that there is a well thought out plan. It does seem like there was some coordination to make sure that Rodriguez could at least step into this interim role. But as your question points to, well, but for how long? Will there be elections? What happens if there starts to be more insurgency? What is the role of oil companies involved here? How long is it going to take oil companies to be able to rebuild? These are all open questions that I'm not sure there were settled answers before the military operation was conducted.
So many questions.
Yeah, well, speaking of Paul Post, we were just talking about how great of a guest you are. It's a sign of a good guest that we have more questions left that we didn't have time to get to.
I know, we have a whole full 10 minutes.
Yeah, thank you for being so knowledgeable and for explaining this in such a way that I think makes it easy to understand for both ourselves and the viewers. We really do appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right, lots more to come, shifting gears in so many different forms and fashions throughout the next one. We got 40 minutes left of the show. Who knows where we're going from here, but you'll find out on the other side of the
You'll be surprised.
Chicago Now. We are going over some trending topics as we typically do. You know, we had a lot of time. We had a few days, the holiday.
Yeah.
To make sure we gather some stuff. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about, like, I guess not really changing your name, but like, what if your name were this?
Yeah.
Or maybe like your mom and dad had different names for you and you're like, what could have been?
Yeah, you know, it's so funny now, you know, at this point, you know, I'm almost a 40-year-old man, and so the idea of someone calling, even like, you know, my name's Jake, but my real name is Jacob. If someone on the street were to shout,
Your
like,
real name is Jacob?
Yeah. If someone on the street were to shout, "Hey, Jacob," I don't think I would turn around. That being said,
Jake.
My mom uses Jacob sometimes. My grandma used Jacob sometimes, and so from them I hear it. But like, if you called me, like if you said something, like if you said, "Hey, Jacob," in the newsroom, I wouldn't turn around.
I am, well, I might have to use that now. I am still just taking in that your real name is Jacob.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, a lot of Jakes, I think,
it's pretty obvious,
actually
but at the
Jacob.
same time, like, never have I seen it written down.
But I've never,
Jake, so I feel like you've been putting on a front this entire
Sure. Well, I've been playing the character of Jake.
Okay, well.
It's kind of the difference.
The real Jacob?
It's the difference between, like, you know, Robert De Niro and Bob De Niro.
But you've always been okay with your name, Jake.
Yeah, oh yeah. I never went through that period of like, oh, I wish I had a different name. Like, I was always very happy with my name.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? How did you and how do you differentiate between Gabby or maybe if you want the full?
So can I tell you a story about my name?
Please.
Actually? Well, because my mom wanted to call me Tatiana, name me Tatiana.
Nice. I feel like that actually kind of suits.
Does it? See, but you remember the song that came out? It was like a play on Tatiana.
No, what's
Tatiana?
Oh no,
I don't know.
No.
I don't know if
There's always something. You know,
I couldn't have gone
the
through
amount
that
of
in
times I've gotten, "Hey, Jake from State Farm."
Oh yeah, okay, that's true.
Like, yeah, everyone has that thing.
But my dad really loved the name Gabriella. And my mom did not like the name Gabriella because one of her exes had like an aunt or something like that. And her name was Gabriella, they'd call her Gabby.
Yeah.
My mom, for the first 12 years, too long, 12 years of my life, literally would tell the teachers, kids at school, like low key, not to call me Gabby.
Really?
It was bad.
So does it?
It was bad.
Does it drive? Oh wait, we are being told by our segment. Wait, Adina, hold it up. Our segment producer, Adina, that you were Samantha for 2 days?
You were Samantha for 2 days.
Now here's the question. Was it 2 days recently or when you were born?
I was born, they were like, if it's a girl, it'll be Samantha.
Yeah.
They named me Samantha. I came out a girl, Samantha. And then they were like...
She doesn't seem like a Samantha? I want to know, what did you do in those first 2 days to make them look at you and go, that's not... No, a Samantha would not do that. Yeah, Samantha wouldn't do that.
That's funny because I love the name Adina.
Yeah,
and so
and it
it's so
suits you.
natural to you.
It was in their list of names.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they had it, but they were decided on Samantha.
Why don't you have a microphone on?
And you know
we just need to keep you mic'd the whole show.
You know, we need to have a designated microphone for everyone to comment because it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by that.
You were named, Samantha, I wonder how long how often that happens.
To your point, I also do think a lot of people aren't named something because their significant other had an X tied to it.
Something, yeah.
Oh, you can't name. Or we can't name our son this. Like, I once dated a guy who was named, like, I do think that there is a lot to that.
But my mom couldn't escape it. It was just, it has to happen. And now she's fine with it. But she would never call me Gabby.
Name, oh, really? Does it bother her when we do on the air?
No.
No? Okay.
Not anymore.
I feel like listen, I've never had to name a kid. So
she hated you for a long time.
Most people do. Most people do.
She loves Jake.
But you kind of have to go through, like, you have to take, if you're going to pick a name for a kid, you have to go through all the pop culture references, right?
Yes, that's true.
And then you have to go through what does it rhyme with?
Could you imagine being a teacher?
Oh.
And having like certain kids in your class, and you're like, oh, I can't name this.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, it would be hard. It would be hard. Okay, well, I ask you this because one of our trending topics.
That was a long lead-in to our trending topic.
In case you were wondering. Michigan mom Amanda told Today.com that her daughter was given the name Margaret at birth, a name meant to honor her late great-grandmother. So oftentimes, I love old names. But as soon as she could talk, she would say, no, I'm not Margaret, I'm Maisie. From the beginning, she rejected Margaret completely. And she would say, we go to the doctor and they call her Margaret and she doesn't look up. At school, all the paperwork says Margaret, but her name is Macy. She constantly corrected people. And so she was constantly then correcting people too. On her 6th birthday, they changed her name officially to Maisie for her 6th birthday. What do you think?
Okay, I also think...
Her middle name now is Margaret, though.
Okay, I was just about to say, I feel like Maisie and Margaret are close enough so that like you probably like maybe it could have been just like a nickname and in the same form as like Jake and Jacob. I feel like you could have. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. And again, I'm not a parent. I don't have kids. The closest extent I have is a dog. So take my opinion with a grain of salt. I don't know. I mean, if I went to my mom and was like, I'm not Jake. I'm the Red Power Ranger. Probably what I would have wanted to be called at 6 years old. I don't know. I don't know if I like being told what to do by a 6-year-old. I feel like there are certain things where it's just like, mom and dad are gonna, your parents or your guardians are gonna make this decision.
I really love the origin story though of Maisie. Like, it's a cute name and all, but from such a young age to think that your name is Maisie, I wonder where she came up with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I'm curious where she got that from. And I'm also, I'm a big believer in precedents. Like you said, and I think with kids, with people in general,
that's true.
I think you set a precedent.
That's true.
And by allowing this one thing, what you are now saying is, if you push us, because apparently Margaret, now Maisie, would not respond to people.
Yeah.
Would correct people at school. I think potentially the lesson that you're teaching is, if you push back hard enough, you will get what you want.
That's
and
true.
I do think that there is value in life to not always getting what you want.
And mic drop. That is true. No, that is true. But I would say if it was Maggie, it would be perfect, right?
Sure.
But Maisie.
But and again,
what was wrong with
close.
Maggie? I have a friend whose name is Margaret, and we call her Maggie, and it's so cute.
Yeah, and I just don't know if when you're 6, if you're. Well, what do you know about life?
That is true.
All I wanted to, at 6, all I wanted to do was watch Jurassic Park and Power Rangers and
that is
Batman.
True. Who knows?
Oh, Batman. That's what I would have done.
That's what my brother would have done.
Batman Hamilton.
He would wear a Batman cape everywhere.
That's what I would have done.
So this next topic is something that I know nothing about, and I'm going to let you take it away.
How have you never watched Stranger Things?
Jake, I tried.
How are you the one?
Oh, Jacob, I'm sorry. I tried watching, I think, a couple seasons of the first, or a couple episodes of the first season.
Sure.
And I don't remember if I got creeped out or what happened, but I get scared.
I always describe it. It's very kind of an 80s, what I refer to as like an Amblin vibe, which is sort of the studio that Steven Spielberg created. I always sort of say it's a Stephen King story if Steven Spielberg directed it.
Okay.
It has since evolved a lot over a decade and 5 seasons. So we're going to talk a little bit about the finale. I'm going to work really hard not to ruin it for anybody who has not seen it.
Oh yeah, because it's printed in bold and italicized and all caps.
So if you are in the middle of watching it, if you don't want anything spoiled for you,
put it on mute for the next
just put it on mute. Don't change the channel, for the love of God. Don't change the channel. Just put it on mute. But when it comes to the end, in regards to the character of Eleven's fate, which is Eleven played by Millie Bobby Brown, there is a lot of ambiguity as to what happens. You think as an audience member that this one thing happens, and then it is presented by another character, well, maybe this happened. And then you're left going, I don't know.
Oh.
So apparently, the creators of the show, the Duffer Brothers, in a recent interview, they said they do know. They know. I mean, it's their show. They they have a right to know. And that the only person that they have told is Millie Bobby Brown herself. But they made her swear to secrecy that she would not tell any of the other cast members what the character's fate is. So basically the idea is the character alive? Is she not alive? As an audience member, I'm a big believer of like not being told things. Like, just let me, if I want to believe X or believe Y, let me do it. And if the other person across the street from me wants to believe the opposite, you do you. It's a fictional story. It didn't happen. So we can all have our own beliefs to it. But apparently there is one definitive answer, and apparently Millie Bobby Brown has sworn that she will not tell anybody what it is.
See, in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, why would they even tell her? You know, like, why would they?
I mean, I think she has a right to know.
I was gonna,
because it makes for her, because it all comes down to a decision that her character made. And I think, to be fair, and this is very hard to do without getting into spoilers, her character has a right to know.
Well, we gave him a spoiler alert.
Yeah, exactly. But her character has a right to know what decision, or the actress has a decision to know what you know. Did you ever see the movie? There's so many different examples of this. Like, did you ever see the movie Lost in Translation?
No.
It's a really great movie with Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson.
Okay.
And one of the most talked about questions in movie history, that the last shot of the movie is the two characters have to go their separate ways. And Scarlett Johansson runs up to Bill Murray and whispers something in his ear. And in the movie, you kind of hear it as... And for years, at this point, it's like a 20-year-old movie. For years, both actors have been asked, what did she say? What did she say? And the only two people in the world that know are Scarlett Johansson and Bill Murray.
Are those two?
And I kind of I don't want to know.
No, but there needs to be a cap. There needs to be a cap, like 30 years, and then you have to say.
Same thing with it goes to I don't want to know what's in the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. I like that they pop it open and they flip it and light comes out of it and you never get to see inside.
Okay, that's a good example.
I think that there are some mysteries in life that you just shouldn't have. If someone finally says, okay, it's this. I have a theory as to what's in the briefcase, but I don't want to know if I'm right or wrong. The ending of Inception. Have you ever seen Inception?
Yes.
Okay, the ending is he always spins the top to see whether he's dreaming or not.
Yeah.
And at the very end, Leo spins the top.
That's true.
And you never, it cuts to black before you find out. Because the point of the ending is he's back with his kids and it does not matter whether he's dreaming or not. He's exactly where he wants to be. Sometimes it doesn't matter.
You're right, Jake. Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, with that last example, you kind of convinced me.
So
we only have a minute left, and I want to go over to the Starbucks winter menu because that's really what matters.
Hot take. Spoiler alert. They have coffee.
They do have coffee, and they have seasonal holiday options. So just for those of you at home, Starbucks does not sponsor us, by the way.
What is that?
Is
that
what
an
is
Ewok?
this? Wait a second.
What is that?
Don't forget, merch is our last.
Cake pops? Those are cake pops?
It's releasing new limited edition seasonal drinkware collections featuring new tumblers, cold cups, and mugs designed to celebrate winter months. But I don't see anything about that little guy. He was cute.
They've got,
I like him a lot. Anyways,
got protein latte. I will tell you.
Let's talk about their drinks.
My girlfriend's gotten me into these protein coffee.
There are a lot of calories. I want you to know that.
Yeah, but we work out.
Okay, yeah, so do I. So it's okay. But the new caramel protein latte and caramel matcha protein latte.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but that kind of sounds gross. They're actually joining the year-round menu along with sugar-free caramel syrup, and there's a new pistachio cortado. I'm surprised they haven't done this before. But it joins the returning pistachio latte and pistachio cream. Okay, I thought they had. That was a cold brew.
They're collaborating with Khloe Kardashian?
Yes, they are.
Nice things are finally working out for that family.
Yeah.
It's nice that they're able to actually
They were just struggling for so long.
Some professional
They're also offering a Khloe Kardashian collab ready-to-eat cloud protein popcorn. So they're all about protein. This is what I put little excitement marks over this. For food, it's coming out with truffle, mushroom, and brie egg bites.
Oh, Adina
were they good, Adina?
Yes.
Is that all of it together?
They weren't.
I would. They were good. I approved of.
Oh my goodness! See, that's my kind of party right there. That's a party I would like to attend.
Not my thing. I'm just not a big.
No?
I'm not a big breakfast guy, and I'm the most boring coffee drinker in the world. I want coffee. I don't want.
'Cause you're mature.
I don't. If it takes 18 syllables to get my coffee order out, I've
Jake, I wish I were more like you.
No, because I'm a big believer of drink what you want to drink. If it makes you happy, if you and I go get Starbucks together and it takes you 15 minutes to get your order out, if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. I genuinely, in the same way I wouldn't want someone to judge what I drink, I won't judge. I just want you to enjoy it.
That's true.
Eat your weird little egg bites and be happy.
It's so sad actually that I only have it on the app because I am embarrassed to order it. Because it's so complicated. It's so complicated. Anyway, we got the wrap.
They wouldn't offer it if you should be embarrassed about it.
Yeah, right, yeah. Exactly. Okay, so enough about Stranger Things, name changes, and Starbucks. Jacob, we're going to be right back after this break, and we have a very exciting guest.
This is going to be cool.
You're going to like this.
Good Day Chicago won't waste your time.
so excited.
Now, 11:39. Listen, let's be honest. Whether you watch TLC or not, you know who our next guest is. The Long Island medium, Theresa Caputo. She's been connecting people with their loved ones on the other side for years. She's heading to our area. She's going to be at the Genesee Theater in Waukegan on February 4th. First of all, Ms. Caputo, this is an honor. I want to tell you, in commercial break, Gabby said, I'm nervous about this, and I'm really curious.
I do this every day.
Not in a bad way. I don't think in a bad way.
No, because you are like someone I've just watched for years and years. I can't tell you how many times you've made me cry. Because one, I'm a sentimental person, but two, because it's so magical, the stuff that you bring to people. So thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you. And I was saying during the break how obsessed I am with the two of you.
Hey,
thank you.
Then we could just do this back and forth for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But for people, maybe, you know, I said off the top that everyone knows who you are. But let's say there are a couple of people out there who are maybe learning for the first time. Tell people a little bit about what it is that you do.
So what I am able to do is be able to connect with people that have died. I know that sounds crazy. I know and believe that we all have the ability to connect with our own loved ones that have passed, because that's a soul bond that can never be broken. I just have the ability to connect with everyone's loved ones. And I always say this is never about believing in what I do as a medium. I don't care if people believe in what I do. I want them to believe in themselves, and more importantly, to believe in an afterlife.
You know, Theresa, watching your show for years, seeing like little clips even that you're, still posting, it seems like, a lot of it maybe is in a smaller setting, like a small group or something. Maybe a family welcomes you into their home, or you're at a table with someone. What is it like being in a theater with people? Are you still able to, pick folks out, do a reading? Like, how do you even navigate this?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I just do it. I always say to myself, when I'm behind stage getting ready to go out on stage, say to myself, Theresa, you have some nerve, because you have no plan. Like, there is no set list. There's nothing. The only thing that I know that I'm going to do is come out there and give a speech. And once I start feeling the souls of the departed, I allow the souls to guide me around the space. As you could see in that clip, I am literally in the audience. I have cameras that follow me around, and we have a big screen set up, so no matter where I am in the theater and you are seated, you will be able to see these messages being delivered up close and personal. And I have to say, to be in a space like that, with thousands of people, to feel the healing, to feel the love, to feel the energy, and to watch someone heal right in front of you is something truly incredible.
Theresa, I'd imagine when it comes to particularly a larger audience, there are people in that room who absolutely want to be picked and want you to come to talk to them, and there are people who do not want that. There are people that are saying, maybe they were taken there by a significant other, or just saying, it's not something I'm comfortable with. Can you see that on people's faces, and does that play any kind of a factor into whether or not you're going to talk to them?
Well, usually it happens after I start talking to the person. They'll be like, hey, I only came because my wife had an extra ticket, or she dragged me here. So I can also feel like, as I'm channeling, like if someone is blocking me, and I don't mean that in a negative way, like if they just don't know what to do with me, or to do with the information, or what is actually happening in that moment. But I will say, like, sometimes the people that come to the live show that have no expectations, they have the best experience.
That is actually the best way, I think, to go through any show or any experience that you're about to have, is to go with no expectation.
Absolutely.
Because maybe it's higher than you ever would have thought. Or
That's how I do this show every day.
There you go, Jake. No preparation, anything. No, Theresa, I remember you maybe telling us before on your show, or I've heard it, but how do you connect with a spirit? Like, are they yelling at you? Are they tapping you? I don't know. Like, how do you even know if someone's trying to talk?
I always say to people when they ask me that, I'm like, I wish I could tell you something really cool that happens. It just happens. I just start sensing and feeling things. Sometimes they might make me feel the bond in relationship, like I could feel like a father energy. Or they might, one of the main ways that I connect with spirit is through feeling. So they will make me feel what it was like when they left the physical world, as their soul was leaving the physical body. So I will physically feel things. That's the main way that I connect with them. So a lot of times I will stop in front of someone and say to someone, who was the father figure that passed from something of the chest, because I'll be having difficulty breathing. Or saying, who lost the son who passed in a tragedy, because I'll begin to taste blood. And that's my symbol for that someone passed in a tragic way, or of internal injuries or bleeding.
You know, I'm so curious. You know, the afterlife is a concept that is for a lot of different religions. It's a commonality in a lot of different religions around the world. And when you have a large group of people together, you could have many different religions all in the same room. Does religion at all play any kind of a part in sort of the conversations that are had, because different people do believe different things when it comes to the afterlife?
Sure, but at the end of the day, we believe in an afterlife, right? So I tell people this in my speech. I am a practicing Catholic, even though they don't agree with what I do. They take my money every week, but that's a different story. And I share that with people because people wonder if I do have a faith. And I always say faith is a personal thing. But at the end of the day, we all believe, or at least want to believe, in an afterlife, right? Or believe that there is something more than here in the physical world. And a lot of people come to that show and they lost their faith. They might not believe in God. They might not believe in an afterlife because of how they lost a loved one. And that's something that the gift that I have and what I do as a medium gives people their faith back, no matter what it is. I mean, I had a gentleman recently come up to me and he was crying and he said, "I need to thank you." He says, "Because of you, I turned back to God and I started going back to church again because of you. I was so angry at God, but I found forgiveness through you."
And I think that's really interesting because, you know, I kept using the word religion. I like that you use the word faith, because I'd imagine, you know, because those can sometimes mean the same things, but can also mean two completely different things. And I'd imagine that the word faith, and whatever the case may be, and the fact that this is really happening, the fact that my significant other is on the other side, faith, I think, is a stronger word in this case.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think religion is such a personal thing, and it's for people to decide. Who am I or anyone else to tell someone what religion to believe in? That's up to that person.
I'm glad Jake took the next question, because I was already tearing up. I cannot, I mean, I think it's just your voice that makes me tear up. And just like, I think it's just so magical and great. And the gift that, again, that you're giving to people, it just is so special. I have to ask you, Theresa, is there one story, maybe it happened in the last year, couple years, your whole career, and you get asked this a lot, that was most impactful reading you've done?
You know, look, is it the couple that came to me that was on the brink of divorce, and then their son coming through and saying, "Mom, don't be angry at Dad. It was his soul's journey to carry my death." And now this happened over 15 years ago, and they're still married. I get a Christmas card from them every year. Or is it the woman who I turned to her during a live show? This just happened within the past year. I was channeling someone else, and I looked at this woman and said, "God wants you to know that he took your child." And the woman looked at me and was crying, and she said, "I've been carrying this burden for 30 years. She was molested by a family member and became pregnant, and her family was forcing her to have the child. And she prayed to God to take her child. And she woke up the next morning and miscarried. And she said, I carried this burden for 30 years that I killed my child." She said, "So thank you for telling me that." And that was something that I said that I was like, that's crazy. Why am I saying this to this woman? Like, but it's not up to me what Spirit has me say. It's up to the souls.
You know, Theresa, obviously when you do these shows, when you go to these shows, there is this expectation that you are going to have these conversations with these people. I also am a big believer of right place, right time. You know, there are, you know, rules in terms of how you treat people, whether they're a celebrity or not, out and about in public. And I'd imagine you're walking around on the sidewalk, you're going to a restaurant, you get people coming up going, "Hey, do me, come on, come on, do me." What would you say to someone, maybe who doesn't necessarily even see you at your show, but if they see you out and about, I'd imagine it's not quite as, "Hey, do me, come on, you can do it." There has to be rules and regulations.
Well, I just have to say I'm very fortunate, because mostly when people see me, they're just saying hi. They're like, "Hey, Theresa," yelling across the airport or across, you know, the store. And 95% of the time, believe it or not, they're just thanking me for the work that I do, and saying, whether they attended my show or watched or listened to my podcast, they'll say, "I want to thank you because what you do has changed and given me my life back." And I consider it such an honor and a privilege to channel the souls of the departed, and the fact that people trust me with the souls of their departed loved ones mean the absolute world to me.
Wow, Theresa. Well, it's so true. Everything that they tell you, you know, I believe the same. Thank you for coming on. One more time for people at home, when your show is, are there still tickets available? And would you encourage them? Well, obviously, you would encourage them to come and participate.
Of course, yeah, because listen, I always say this, whether maybe you didn't physically lose someone. Let's face it, especially in the past 5 years, we've lost something. And Spirit gives us our faith back. Faith in ourselves, the faith in knowing that we have a right to live life with happiness and joy, and to really know that things happen for a reason, even though that's the worst thing that could possibly happen to us, right? God has a plan, and it's always something positive and beautiful. So you just got to come down and check out the show.
Love that.
I guarantee you'll leave feeling positive.
Love that.
I agree.
Genesee Theater in Waukegan, February 4th. Tickets are available on your website. We love you. We're obsessed with you. Thank you for taking the time. We appreciate you.
I'm obsessed with you, and I do have a very complicated Starbucks drink, by the way.
Thank you, Theresa.
And you know what?
We're one of the same. We're
pride.
one of the same.
Drink it with pride.
Thank you,
But
Theresa.
I love that you gave her permission to order it. I love
Yes,
that you.
thank
And it's
you.
the same thing what I do. Let people do. Let people do them.
If only my husband would feel the same
Yeah,
way.
trust me. She don't need my permission. She runs this. Thank you. We appreciate
I
you.
love you guys. Thank
See
you
you
so
later.
much.
Have you back. Enjoy
Take
Chicago
care.
when you're here. All right, thanks.
That's awesome.
That was cool.
You okay?
That was cool.
Need a breath?
But, well, you know what? That's what I mean. Like any little sentimental thing, but also especially her. Like. I think I'm not alone with that. It doesn't even matter if you're an emotional person or not. When you watch some of her clips, it's so beautiful. Okay, on that note, we're going to be switching subjects. We're going to talk about, you know, maybe you have someone in your life who's having trouble, you know, getting pregnant with infertility. They're saying that sometimes diet might be impacting that. So we're going to talk all about that when we come back after the short break.
Hi, I'm attorney Chris Cooper.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. I do not like this stat, but it says the World Health Organization says 1 in 6 people are affected by infertility. And there's another report that's saying your diet could have impact on your fertility. So we're learning more about this, what research has shown with Rachel Swanson, registered dietitian, also author of a book called Trying. Thank you, Rachel, for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yes, it's awesome to be here with you guys, and Happy New Year, by the way.
Yeah, Happy New Year 2026. Okay, let's talk about how diet can impact fertility, because I think we hear a lot about this online, right? Like TikTok, Instagram videos saying, don't eat this, it'll impact you, you know, don't have anything cold. I don't know, all these like niche little things. But what do you think? What's kind of the main message for people?
Yeah, the main message is it shouldn't really be about individual foods. We need to optimize how our entire body functions, and that actually looks like a little bit personalized for each and every person, right? And so, yeah, stop looking to social media to get what foods you should eat for fertility.
That should probably be
That's
obvious.
a good lesson in life. Just stop looking to social media.
Because everyone does.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly right.
How much of this, in regards to sort of your diet, is specifically about fertility or infertility, and more just being healthier as a whole?
Well, this actually gets to a great point. And going off of what you just said, you know, when you actually take this whole body root cause approach to fertility, guess what? You're setting yourself up for success in other ways too. That includes health span, lifespan. So it doesn't matter if we're talking about fertility or other metrics of health. This actually all goes to that goal. So again, I mean, every food that we might talk about today between us, it's going to be helpful for those that are not just trying to get pregnant.
Yeah, someone who wants to change your life completely, especially as we enter 2026. Maybe what are some of those foods that will help with both, right? Your health in general, but also, you know, may lend a hand if you are having to, you know, are trying to conceive.
Sure. So I can't wait to go over this with you guys. So the first one that I'm going to bring up is probably the most controversial when it comes to taste.
Okay.
Take a guess what it is.
I don't know.
Now I'm so curious because I don't want to say I don't like it.
Crab? I don't know. Something silly.
Crab?
I don't know. Like
crab's great. Probably like liver.
I don't know. Okay, liver, sure, tongue.
Yes, exactly right. So it's liver, and I wish it wasn't true, but objectively, this is the best source of vitamin B2, B6, B12, choline, and folate. This is a powerhouse. Now, I don't want you to think of the chicken liver that, you know, the chicken liver and onions your mom might have forced you to eat when growing up, you know, speaking from experience. I really want you to think about hiding that, like chop up a few ounces and fold it into a bolognese or something of that matter. Think of it as like you're hiding vegetables for toddlers. That's what we're doing for adults when it comes to liver.
Are we talking in regards to sort of this diet for both men and women need to be sort of making these changes?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, exactly right. Because think about it. If we're talking about a powerhouse nutrient of all your B vitamins, that supports both men and women.
Now I have another question. Is alcohol playing a part? Is that something where if you think maybe we're at that point in our lives where we're going to have a baby, should scaling back on alcohol be a part of the solution?
Absolutely. Look, when people come to see me in practice, they aren't looking for what can I get away with. They are looking about how can I optimize my body to perform its best. Just because of that change in philosophy and mindset, I say, you know, alcohol isn't really part of that equation. And of course you can enjoy socially from time to time. But look, if we're here to optimize our body to make a baby, then alcohol is just not part of that picture.
You know, Rachel, unfortunately, we're running out of time, but I want to talk about your book, Trying, that we see the cover of right now. So honestly, it's really impactful because that's usually people's answer, right? You're trying if you've been asked over and over again. Like the exclamation mark. You know, what does this book take you through? Is it different recipes? Is it different advice? I don't know.
Yeah, so it's a different, let me take a step back and tell you sort of why it was written. So generally when you read fertility books, it's very reactive. It's based off of symptoms, right? Or it's one size fits all. I call that fertility 1.0. I think this approach is prehistoric. It doesn't reflect the latest science. And quite frankly, I think women deserve a lot better than this. That's why I spent the past 3 years on this framework, which is how to take a proactive approach that optimizes how the entire body functions. That's what I call fertility 2.0. So that's what this book will walk you through.
I love it, and perfect timing. All right, we'll make sure that people follow you. Thank you so much, Rachel, for joining us. We appreciate your time, and yeah, good luck to everyone out there.
Yeah, very much so,
2026 off to a good start, and we'll see you later on.
Thanks, Rachel.
Have a good day.